Hello, you lovely people. This is me, Chef Varun Inamdar, and welcome to Get Curried. Well, today's recipe is a Pandhra Rassa, which, trust me, is an absolute emotion when it comes to Kolhapuri cuisine, which is, of course, part of Maharashtra in India. Well, today I'm going to kind of reinvent Pandhra Rassa and make the classic with a twist. I'm making mushroom Pandhra Rassa. Let's begin. Well, Pandhra Rassa for the uninitiated is almost a broth-like curry, which, trust me, is extremely flavorful. It's white in color, of course, because Pandhra means white. It's directly associated with the color of the curry. Well, extremely spicy when it comes to the original or the classic, but I've kind of mellowed it down. I've kind of lowered the spices because, of course, with meat, the spices kind of get balanced, but with mushroom, they get extremely pronounced. Now, you do not need any roasting, any grilling, any braising, or anything of that sort. All you need are fresh ingredients along with boiled onions. So let's straight jump in and start using fresh coconut. Let's add in red onions, which are roughly cut, sliced, boiled, and cooled down. Let's add in a couple of knobs of ginger, followed by cloves of garlic, black pepper. Well, in case you can lay your hands on white peppercorns, absolutely nothing like it. White poppy seeds. Let's add in toasted white sesame seeds and a little shavings of nutmeg. Let's add in some coriander leaves, of course, washed and picked. And finally, adding in some whole spices, a stick of cinnamon, black cardamom, a couple of green cardamoms, and finally, some cloves. Add in cold water, cover this, and grind this into a smooth paste. Let's have a quick check and transfer this into a strainer. Let's press all of this as much as we can. Well, this is pressed and ready. There's a lot of milk still there in this mixture. Let's grind this once again with water. Round 2 of the grinding is also done and ready. And now let's press this yet again. Well, this is how this needs to be: smooth, silken, and without any grates of coconut. Let's begin with the tempering process and let's add regular vegetable oil. Let's add in some whole spices, bay leaf, green cardamom, black cardamom, and before the oil begins to heat, I'm going to add in the pressed milk. Salt as required, of course, keeping in mind that there's also going to be some mushroom stock in this. Let's add in button mushrooms, of course, cleaned and diced. If they're really tiny, you can keep them whole as well. And along with this, I'm adding in a layer of earthiness to this, and that is shiitake mushrooms. Of course, if you can lay your hands on fresh shiitake, nothing like it, but these ones are rehydrated in hot water. Let's give this a quick stir and allow this to bubble on high flame till the mushrooms get wonderfully cooked. Now, Pandhra Rassa generally is extremely well-bodied and well-flavored, and that flavor comes from something called stock. Now, ideally, of course, a lot of recipes use stock, but in this case, a stock is absolutely mandatory. Now, because we are making mushroom Pandhra Rassa here, this is mushroom stock. Now, of course, this does not require any cooking. This is possibly one of the quickest stocks that you can make with a method called maceration. Now, if you remember, just a couple of seconds back, I spoke about shiitake mushrooms, rehydrated, keeping in hot water. This is that hot water, which has now come down to room temperature. So I'm going to use this as mushroom stock. Well, quite a stock in a jiffy. Let's add this. Now, like I said earlier, this actually is like a thin broth. So go all out and add in the stock, and later we'll also adjust the salt. Let's now allow this to roll boil on high flame. Well, the cooking of mushrooms is not going to take a lot of time. Just a couple of minutes here and there. Once you know that the mushroom is done to the doneness of your choice, with this, off goes the flame. With this, ladies and gentlemen, mushroom Pandhra Rassa is done and ready. It's the closest counterpart to the Tamda Rassa, which I promise I'll show you sometime later. But for now, this is done, this is ready. This goes with nothing. Just treat it like a soup, and that's about it. Of course, if you have a whole thali to pair it with, absolutely nothing like it. But this is possibly one of the most flavorful, wholesome soups from the heart of Maharashtra. Bye for now.